that certain candidates could not be hired because they have a disability, they are white men, they are not of the, quote, right religion. All of these are verbatim quotes.
Folks, this is big. Ted Cruz read an email out loud exposing the Biden administration's hiring practices in the name of equity. And judging by the witness's reaction, she wasn't expecting to be brought up. And today, we're breaking it all down. So, if you believe truth isn't partisan, hit the subscribe button and let's jump right into it.
You're empowered as the State Department's first standalone Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. Your mandate is to promote a concept on the left called equity, which I think is nothing more than brazen discrimination. You were appointed in April 2021, and as you extensively testified this morning, you introduced fundamental changes to the State Department hiring practices in line with the mandate of equity to affirmatively and aggressively discriminate. A year after your appointment, in April 2022, the State Department released its, quote, equity action plan to integrate these so-called equity principles into, quote, all aspects of State Department foreign affairs.
Now, for some context, the witness at this hearing was Ambassador Gina Abercrombie Winstanley, who actually had a long and impressive career as a diplomat. One of her biggest accomplishments was coordinating the evacuation of American citizens from Lebanon during the 2006 war, which became the largest evacuation effort from a war zone since World War II. But things took a strange turn during the Biden administration when she was brought in as the State Department's Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. An argument could definitely be made that the action plan Cruz referenced helped lay the groundwork for some of the questionable USAID spending that later came to light. It laid out 5 key priorities that Gina's office wanted to implement. Among them were, quote, foreign assistance and grants. It even stated that the State Department would work with underserved racial and ethnic groups and other underserved communities around the world to embed equity into U.S. foreign policy. But Cruz had an email that proved another troubling practice. So let's take a look.
That very week, just days after you published the Equity Action Plan, and 1 year after you began your tenure, a senior State Department official broadly distributed what I consider to be a very troubling email. The email says that hiring practices have developed inside the State Department so that, and I'll quote, that certain candidates could not be hired because they have a disability, they are white men, they are straight white men, they are not of the, quote, right religion. All of these are verbatim quotes from the email of a senior State Department official. My first question to you is, did you clear this guidance?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I've never seen that before.
You've never seen the email before?
I've never seen it.
So you didn't know it had been sent?
This is the first time I'm seeing it, sir.
Well, do you know that it is happening? That the State Department perceives, and this is, I believe, as a result of your work.
That brief pause tells you everything. And it's not like this would be the first time the Biden administration got caught red-handed. For instance, under Biden's American Rescue Plan, the SBA's Restaurant Revitalization Fund gave a 21-day priority window to restaurants owned by women, veterans, and, quote, socially and economically disadvantaged people, which was later blocked by the Sixth Circuit. The same bill also introduced USDA debt relief programs for, quote, socially disadvantaged farmers and ranchers. And you probably guessed it, it excluded white farmers and was only changed after legal pressure. We saw similar policies pop up at the DOT and even the FAA, making it pretty obvious that there was direction coming from the top. That's why Cruz asked again, was Gina aware of it? And she started going in circles. But before we get there, we have a quick message from today's sponsor. Now, Saga Metals is quickly becoming one of the most interesting stories in critical mineral space. And the largest update may be their biggest yet. Less than 48 hours ago, the company released results indicating that the Radar project could represent one of the largest titanium and vanadium systems ever identified. Trading as SAGMF in the US and Saga in Canada, this is a development worth paying attention to. Now, to put the opportunity into some perspective for you, look at China's Panzhihuan deposit. It supplies more than 40% of global vanadium production and serves as a cornerstone to a multi-billion-dollar market. Together, titanium and vanadium support an industry worth over $50 billion each year. Now enter Saga with their Radar project. Now, based on current data, the project appears comparable in scale to Panzhihuan and may even surpass it. If upcoming exploration continues to validate the early data, Saga could be advancing one of the largest titanium-vanadium intrusive systems on the planet. That changes the conversation from exploration to securing a strategic supply chain at a continental level. Now, titanium remains a critical defense metal, used in things like fighter jets, advanced radar systems, and next-generation naval technology. Governments across North America are already committing billions of dollars to secure domestic critical mineral supply chains and reduce dependence on foreign sources, putting projects like Radar directly into focus. With strong results, government backing, and an ambitious exploration program, momentum around Saga continues to build. So, if you want to learn more about their story, check the link in the description. Now back to the video.
Are you aware these practices are happening at the State Department?
Again, thank you for the question. I am definite and certain that they are not happening at the State Department. But again...
So do you believe the senior State Department official who sent this email was lying?
Senator, I can't comment on I don't know who that's from. I don't know if I've never seen it before.
So you're the chief diversity officer, and you're arguing you are certain discrimination is not happening at the State Department. Is that right? Was that what you're testifying? That's what you just said.
I am saying that it is against the law, and we certainly are not overtly or on purpose breaking the law in the Department of State. Certainly, there are members of our organization who do discriminate, who do harass, who do bully, which is why we are trying to put in place programs to address it and to strengthen accountability for those who...
Now, it's pretty ironic that she openly admitted discriminating based on sex, race, or religion is illegal, while the very same action plan Cruz brought up earlier contained language that clearly encouraged that kind of behavior. So either she knowingly misled the committee or she was talking in circles, trying to cover it after the fact. Now, there really is not much room in between. Ted was not about to let those deflections slide either, and he was quick to call her out on them, saying this.
So you didn't clear this guidance, and after it was sent, you're testifying now that you remained unaware of it, so no one showed it to you. You were in the State Department for a year. You were empowered in your position in an unprecedented way. In your testimony, you talked about creating a DEIA data working group about hiring practices and a dedicated DEIA core precept. And your testimony is you didn't know that this discrimination was happening. My staff can transmit to you the exact header and the details of this email.
Okay.
But I have to say, Ambassador, I find it a little bit amazing that this discrimination is being reported to be ongoing in the administration and you are professing to be unaware of it. I'm reminded from a line from the movie Office Space. What would you say you do around here?
Honestly, it's truly remarkable that someone who spends decades building such a respected career in diplomacy, someone involved in major evacuation efforts and counterterrorism work that genuinely saved lives, ended up getting pulled into this kind of ideological agenda and risking all of that credibility in the process. And for what exactly? To push a worldview that claims to solve past grievances by creating entirely new ones. At the end of the day, there was nothing remotely tied to equity in the email Cruz read out loud, nor within the action plan. And judging by her reaction during the hearing, Gina seemed to realize that herself once it was put on the record.